Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And this afternoon I watched the 2022 reboot film of the Hellraiser franchise called Hellraiser. And just for sake of distinguishing it between the 1987 original, we're going to call this Hellraiser 22. Like I said, it's the second adaptation of this of the original movie, but of course the storyline is very different. What happens and the characters are all quite different here. We have a female Pinhead. So this was a little bit of a controversial. I think I haven't read too much about it, but enough for some people having a complaint. And I totally understand, because Doug Bradley is awesome as Pinhead in the movies that we've seen. He is an iconic character. Pinhead is an iconic character, as well as Doug Bradley is also an iconic actor in the horror franchise. He's got that great voice of his. And he's also done several voice related stuff, including on metal albums as well. If I'm not mistaken, he was there on I think an album by Cradle of Filth, and maybe possibly quite more. I'll have to check. But anyway, the reboot Pinhead is played by Jamie Clayton, who is a transgender woman. She's an actress who's been in a few films, but I don't think I've actually seen any of them. However, I thought she did play it. She's quite chilling in the role. The effect of the sound and the look, including giving completely an eerie sort of feeling, and the movie is kind of effective, especially when you see the Cenobites in it, especially when you see Pinhead in it. So this movie, and now I don't know any of the other actors. It also stars Odessa A. Zion, along with Jamie Clayton, Brandon Flynn, Drew Starkley, Adam Faison, or Faison, I guess, Selena Lowe, and one of my favorite character actors of recent years is Goran Visnich, who is played. He was in Timeless. He was in. What's that movie with? That series with oh boy, I'll let it quickly checking. He was in Extent, but unfortunately the season was. The series was a flop. To be honest, he was also recently in. Well, Timeless is actually, I think, one of his best roles, but I've seen him in a few things. In terms of movies, I don't think I've actually seen any of his movies. I've been wanting to watch The Girl with the Golden Tattoo, but I've never got a chance to see it yet. But he did voice a character, Soto, in the Ice Age movie, in the first Ice Age film. Anyway, good actor. So he plays this eccentric multi-millionaire who's he's got this hedonistic parties and stuff, and he has a I don't know if the guy was supposed to be a male prostitute or just a guy taken who's hard up for money, come in, and he is he is a sex worker. Comes across the mechanical box that we know very well, the puzzle box, and he wants him to solve it. He does solve the configuration, and then he's stabbed by a hidden blade, and then a portal opens through which, basically the chains that you see in the other films as well, rips this guy out. We then set the movie 6 years later, and this recovering addict by the name of Riley, she's living with her brother and his boyfriend. Her brother's name is Matt, boyfriend's name is Colin, and their roommate Nora. For some reason, I had the feeling that this was actually set in the UK, but it isn't. And she's got a boyfriend called Trevor. He convinces her to break into this abandoned storage warehouse where there's one particular container in which the puzzle box is there. So he tells her that we can steal it to sell off what we can find inside. They do take it, and then she solves it, but she doesn't get stabbed. So the thing is, if you get stabbed, you get claimed by the Cenobites. She doesn't get stabbed. However, she fights with her brother, and she leaves the apartment that she's staying with them, while she's outside. I think it's at a empty park, because it's those kids playground kind of thing, and the Cenobites come to her. She blacks out. Her brother comes looking for her, and where he stabs himself by mistake, and when he goes to the bathroom, he is attacked by the chains and he disappears. She takes the help of Trevor, and they try to find out how to solve this, and they find out that the area was owned by the millionaire Roland Voigt, played by Goran Vesnich, who was disappeared 6 years ago. And she tracks down Serena Menaker, who's played by, I want to check out who's the actress. She seems very familiar, but I've never seen her. Okay, it's not somebody I know, but she looks very familiar. I can't pronounce it. Hayam Abbas. So she is suffering from cancer, and she's in a care center, and then she is attacked later on. She tells them about the device and tells them not to play around with it. She is cut by the blade and then is taken by the Cenobites. She decides, sorry, not Trevor, but Riley decides to go on her own. She doesn't want to involve anybody. She goes and finds the house, the mansion that the billionaire was living in. Voight was living, but Trevor, Colin, and Nora arrive to take her home, and in a series of events, one by one, they get infected. They get taken by the Cenobites. The Pinhead offers to, after it takes off Nora, she offers, if she sacrifices the other two, or at least one more of them, she can get her brother back, but she decides at the last moment she can't do that. However, we find out that Trevor is actually in on it. Voight is still alive, but he's got this, and I can't for the life of me know what this thing is. What is that thing that is got? Voight is actually alive. He's got these things fitted onto him, and it's very painful. He wants the puzzle to be to get completed so that he can be free. However, she refuses to do so, and he is killed and taken away by the Leviathan. And this is something I don't remember from the original series, but Leviathan is the god of kind of like hell entity. It rules over hell, but it comes from the sky. That was weird. And she decides, she decides she can't bring her brother back, and that is why she is spared as well as Colin is spared. And they leave, but Voight and Trevor are killed. Trevor is the last sacrifice. He is mutilated and dragged to hell. Voight bargains with Pinhead, to give him another gift, and she says he gives him power. He is dragged into the inside the Leviathan, and he is brutally transformed into a new Cenobite. So I guess we might see him in the sequel coming up, or we see the character coming up. So that's the movie. It's a little too long for this kind of a film. I didn't care much for the other actors. The only one I really liked, of course, is to be very honest, the only people I really liked were Goran Vesnich, of course, because he's a really good actor. And the fact that she's just very different, although she's got a very smaller role as Hayam Abbas, because she too has got a very deep voice, older lady, but I just think that they both really stood out whenever they were on the screen. I couldn't stand any of the other actors. Nothing much in it. In terms of, it's about 2 hours long. And this was actually released on Hulu, and oh yeah, let me see. Reception. It's actually got a decent rating, 6.2 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't really go by that. I IMDb is a little bit more of something that I'll have to check and see what's on IMDb, what the score is on IMDb. But the fact is, I think if they had made the movie a little bit shorter, like 130 minutes, 140 minutes, because it was getting a little bit dragging towards the end. However, like I said, the Cenobites are pretty amazing to see. When they're not there is when it gets a little boring. So the twist with the boyfriend being part of, Voight's plan and all that stuff to get a victim, all that kind of like dragged on. So I will give this movie, I'm tempted to give it a 7, but I'm leaning more towards 6.5. It is a little bit dragging. I will give it a 6.5 out of 10. But it's something that I guess it'll take me a long while before I ever want to watch it again. The same with the rest of the Hellraiser films, to be honest. With the exception of the second one, because Terry Farrell looks hot in it, in that tight skirt. That's all I could say about it. Yeah, 6.5 I think is pretty decent. It's okay kind of film. Thank you. Good night.